Calorie cycling. How I managed to lose 7 kilos in 7 weeks and went looking for like this to this, while still managing to go out for meals most weekends and have a few beers. So what is calorie cycling? So calorie cycling was probably first popularized by people who are wanting to have higher and lower calorie days, usually for training. I was thinking about it logically, you want to have more carbohydrates and more calories on days that you're training, and then you're going to want to have less calories potentially on days that you're not training. So that's where it was first popularized. But over the last few years, we've now started to take those concepts and apply it also to weight loss as well. And the key concept to understand with it is to start viewing your calories as a weekly target rather than a daily target. Let me give you an example. So let's say that your daily calorie target is 1800 calories. So I'm gonna write 1800. And that is your daily target. But your weekly target will be 12,600 calories. So we've got your daily calorie target and we've got your weekly calorie target. So let's say we're trying to lose weight and we've calculated that 1800 calories puts us in a calorie deficit. So we're losing, let's say, I don't know, half a kilo a week. Well, what we could do with those calories is, for most people during the week, so Monday to Friday, they can usually diet a little bit more aggressively because they might not have any plans on and they can be in a good routine with work. Most of the social stuff will be on a weekend. So what they could do instead of, rather than dieting at 1800 calories through the week, is maybe, let's say, go to 1600. So let's say that's 1600. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and let's say Friday, they've gone to 1600 calories instead. So they've now got an extra 1000 calories to play with, because 1800 calories is what they will be to be in a calorie deficit, but they've now gone to 1600, so 200 calories each day by 5 is obviously 1000 calories. So now they may decide on Saturday and Sunday that they're going to go to 2800 calories instead. So they're going to decide, okay, well, we'll go to 2,800 calories instead on that day. They might decide that Sunday they're just going to stay at 1800 calories, and then they might take Saturday even higher. So calorie cycling, instead of viewing your calories as a daily target, is about viewing them as a weekly target instead. Now, there's probably some people questioning, oh, well, is this just the same as a refeed day? Well, technically, no, it isn't, because a refeed day would be where we take calories up to maintenance, 1 to 3 days per week, depending upon your body fat percentage levels. However, with this method, we're not taking anything up to maintenance levels. You can go as far or low as you want with calories to a certain extent. We're just balancing your calorie deficit number, so we're not prescribing 1, 2 or 3 days per week where you're going to go to maintenance. There might be some weeks where you want to use calorie cycling where you've got a wedding on a weekend, or you've got a meal out with friends. But then there might be some weeks where you've not got anything on, so you decide it's better to stick to that 1800 calorie target rather than going to 1600, for example. Now, there's a couple of different ways to use calorie cycling. My preferred method for when people is dieting is on a Sunday evening, just having a look at the week ahead for your calendar and just identifying any social events or things that are coming up in your calendar that might need an increase in calories. For example, on Friday, you might be going out for a meal with your partner. So what you might do is you might look at the menu beforehand, decide what you're going to have, put that into your nutrition tracker so you know how many extra calories you need for that day. So you've identified that on Friday, you're going out for a meal with your partner and you're going to have, let's say, pepperoni pizza. And for that pepperoni pizza, you need an extra 850 calories. So what you might do is you might just add onto 1800, 850 calories, and then what you would do is just reduce potentially 2, 3 days, however many days you need in order to balance that weekly calorie target out. The other way in which you might use it, and this is one that I commonly did when I was dieting, is that when I planned my nutrition out, I would always leave around 20% of my daily calories unallocated each day. Those 20% of calories would usually go to something that's a little bit quote unquote less nutritious. However, if I was dieting and I decided that I actually don't feel like using those calories today, well, then I might just skip that meal to either A, create a bigger deficit, or B, potentially use those calories later during the week. And I actually have a spreadsheet for my clients to use for this, where they can look at the week ahead and it'll have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They put their calorie target in for each day, and then they can just allocate if they need more calories on that day. It just readjusts all the other days and tells them what they need to be eating at on those days. If you would like a copy of this sheet, then just shoot me a message, send me an email, send me a message on Instagram, and I've got no issues in sending you a copy. Now, the maximum amount of calories I would recommend, this doesn't mean you have to stick to this, the maximum calories I would recommend to borrow from each day would be around 20 20%. What I typically tend to find is when we start going higher than that number, especially when you're dieting, that's when we're likely potentially going to run into some hunger issues. So 20% is usually a good number to aim for. Also, understand that the next day after you've used calorie cycling, if you've had a big influx of calories, carbohydrates in particular, the scale weight the following day is going to be higher. Now, this is not going to be fat, this is going to be glycogen and water retention, which is why it's really important you're using your weekly average weight and not a single day weigh-in. Okay, so quickly to summarize, calorie cycling can be used for weight loss. It is about seeing your calories as a weekly target rather than a daily target. You don't have to use it every week. I would recommend using it when you've got social events on, so if you're going out for meals out with your partner, if you've got weddings, if you've got parties, and you're in a fat loss phase, then all you would do is allocate more calories to those days and reduce them from other days to balance your weekly calorie target out. I wouldn't recommend using more than 20% of one day's calorie allocation from another day. Remember, the other way in which you can use calorie cycling is if you get to the end of the day and you've still got calories left, you can either skip them to create a bigger deficit, or you can save them for later in the week, so calorie banking them. Expect to see the scale weight go up the next day, but this will be from water and glycogen retention, not fat. And if you want a copy of my weekly calorie cycling planner, then send me a message on social media or write in the comments below and I'll send you a free copy of it.